Hi friends, we shall discuss today the topic carburetion. In today's tutorial, we shall discuss the introduction of carburetion, then definition of carburetion, factors affecting carburetion, principle of carburetion, the simple carburetion, calculation of the air-fuel ratio, essential parts of a carburetor, and last will be compensating device. Spark ignition engines normally use volatile liquid fuel. Preparation of fuel-air mixture is done outside the engine cylinder, and formation of homogeneous mixture is normally not completed in the inlet manifold. Fuel droplets which remain in suspension continue to evaporate and mix with air even during suction and compression process. The process of mixture preparation is extremely important for spark ignition engines. The purpose of carburation is to provide the combustible mixture of fuel and air in the required quantity and the quality for efficient operation of the engine under all conditions. Before going in deep discussion, we should think what may be the exact definition of carburation. During introduction with carburation, I have mentioned that the purpose of carburetor is to provide a combustible mixture. According to Professor V. Ganeshan, the process of formation of combustible fuel-air mixture by mixing proper amount of fuel with air before admission to engine cylinder is called carburation, and device used is said to be a carburetor. Just now we have discussed that the carburation is a process. This process is influenced by many factors. Some of those factors are the engine speed, the vaporization characteristics of the fuel, the temperature of the incoming fuel, and last is the design of the carburetor. Here the engine speed refers to the reciprocating speed of piston inside the cylinder. Further, it may be noticed or referred in terms of RPM. Next is the vaporization characteristic of the fuel. Since we are using different fuels, their physical and chemical properties will vary. According to that, we have to see their vaporization characteristics, how easily that can be vaporized. The temperature of the incoming fuel. Here the temperature of incoming fuel refers to the ambient temperature or temperature of the surroundings at which fuel intake takes place. Last is design of the carburetor. Since we are using a device known as carburetor for this process of carburation, so for a device, design is an important factor. Let's see now the principle. Principle of carburation. What may be the principle of carburation according to you? Basically, carburation is based on Bernoulli's principle, which literally understood as for the fluid flow through a tube, product of area and velocity is constant. In this figure, as we can see, a Venturi type structure having a region of decreasing area. There must be a point of minimum cross-sectional area. Just before that point, we shall give fuel to the tube. That will be carried by the air due to friction. Fuel will be atomized due to high speed, and we shall get required charge of air-fuel mixture. The construction and working of a carburetor is very much complex. So, before going to complex structure or working, we shall discuss the simple carburetor first. We are seeing here a simple carburetor, and we shall discuss working function, what are the functions of this carburetor, how a carburetor basically works. Here we are seeing choke, venturi, fuel discharge nozzle, throttle valve, float chamber, idle valve. There are some parts which are very much essential, or you can say without which we can't construct a carburetor. Parts are fuel strainer, float chamber, main fuel metering, idle nozzle, choke, and last is throttle. We shall discuss all these parts one by one. This is a picture of fuel strainer. Fuel strainer is nothing but just like a filter type structure, and its main function is also like a filter. It avoids any hindrance or any obstruction to flow of fuel through the venturi due to the unwanted impurities. The unwanted impurities are filtered by this fuel strainer before entering to the float chamber, and we get a pure fuel, and that will be further used in cylinder. This is the internal construction of a strainer. We are seeing carb body, filter, fitting, spring. Float chamber. Float chamber is just like a container type structure which used as a reservoir for fluid before entering to the venturi of carburetor. You may see a fuel reservoir which has function to provide fuel at constant pressure head to carburetor. Means the fuel chamber is used to supply the fuel at constant pressure head, and it is just like a reservoir. During the idling condition, means at no load and a very low speed, we required means the engine requires a very rich mixture for starting. So this idling nozzle is helpful in preparing and providing rich mixture during idling condition. It provides air-fuel mixture of ratio 12:1, approximately 12:1. It is the general case. Choke. Choke is the another construction or component of the carburetor which is helpful for the engine during starting. To start after a long time, very rich mixture is required at very low speed. Choke used to increase pressure drop and provide a mixture of approximately air-fuel ratio of 9:1. An automobile on road has to run on different loads and speeds. The road conditions play a vital role, especially on city roads. One may be able to operate the vehicle between 25 to 60% of throttle only. During such conditions, the carburetor must be able to supply nearly constant air-fuel ratio mixture, which is economical. However, the tendency of a simple carburetor is to progressively weaken the mixture as the throttle starts opening. The main metering system alone will not be sufficient to take care of needs of the engine. Therefore, certain compensating devices are usually added in the carburetor along with the main metering system so as to supply a mixture with a required air-fuel ratio. A number of compensating devices are in use. Some important ones are air bleed jet, compensating jet, emulsion tube, back suction control mechanism, auxiliary air valve, and auxiliary air port. An automobile carburetor must have some important features like ease of starting the engine, particularly under low ambient conditions, ability to give full power quickly after starting the engine, equally good and smooth engine operation at various loads, good and quick acceleration of the engine, developing sufficient power at high engine speeds, simple and compact in construction, good fuel economy, absence of racing of the engine under idling conditions, and ensuring full torque at low speed. So for those purposes we use some carburetors as Solex carburetor, Carter carburetor, and SU carburetor. We shall discuss Solex carburetor first. We may see here the picture of Solex carburetor. As we have discussed just now, a carburetor must have some features, must pose some feature by which we can use it in day-to-day life. Solex carburetor is a modern carburetor which is famous for ease of starting, good performance, it is reliable, and it is a constant choke type carburetor. As we know that there are two types of carburetor. First one is choke type carburetor. Chainit and Solex carburetor falls under this group. Second group is constant vacuum type carburetor. Carter carburetor is the name of vacuum type carburetor. Dear friends, this presentation is not sufficient by the virtue of the chapter Carburetion, but I have tried just some fundamentals. I hope you have enjoyed it. So we'll meet again. Till then, take care and goodbye.